events. We have it here that are
Okay. Hello, everyone. We're back with Doug Grove, past president of the Cherry Springs Star Party. Now, Cherry Springs is one of the big star parties in the United States.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's like the darkest skies on the eastern part of
If
the
not
United States.
the darkest, it's certainly one of the darkest sites in the east. Yes.
And what brings you to the NEAF? I mean, obviously you're an astronomer, you love all this stuff, but
Right.
Right.
Part of the reason that we're here, we actually have a booth as a club, the Astronomical Society of Harrisburg.
okay,
And we're up here promoting the Star Party and our club. The only thing is this year, our Star Party sold out in less than 3 days.
holy smokes.
So we can't take any new registrations, but we're getting the information out about the Star Parties that are coming up in the next 3 years. Because this Star Party is at a state park, they
Okay.
require us to give them 3 years notice of the dates that we expect to use.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, and did you guys hold this star party during the pandemic, or was it put on pause, or what was that like?
Unfortunately, we had to put it on pause. The first year of the pandemic, it was on pause because everything was just shut down.
Yeah.
And that was in 2020. In 2021, we decided not to run it, even though we could have, because of some of the requirements the state was asking us to do at the Star Party.
Distancing and all of that
Right,
stuff.
yeah,
Right.
and we just didn't feel, they weren't onerous or anything,
Yes,
but we just didn't feel we wanted to have to deal with that.
I understand.
So we came back last year in 2022, sold out in about 2 weeks. And then this year, like I said, we sold out in less than 3 days, which
Wow.
shocked us.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't expect to sell out, but we didn't expect to sell out that quick.
So quick. Okay, so now let's go back to kind of the history of Cherry Springs. Cherry Springs State Park probably has always been a haven for amateur astronomers, I think.
It's been a haven for probably about 30 years. There's a friend of mine who was looking for dark sky spots.
Okay.
And he saw this dark spot on one of the night sky maps.
All right.
And he made a trek out there, was there and one night, and the ranger that was in charge came by and said, "What you doing?" He explained to him why he was there, and he was actually the manager of the park, actually came up with the idea of, this might be a good idea. We can do something like this.
Yeah.
Make this a place for astronomers to come. And, they did a lot of interesting things for us very early on. They did things to help improve the park for the astronomers.
In what ways? What did they do?
Well,
There had lights up everywhere? Or?
well, one of the things that was done, there are power stanchions that we have.
Okay.
So that,
So you can
everybody
hook
has,
up your
you can hook up your
computers.
computer, you can hook up your telescope and everything.
Okay.
Now, some of those have been there before because one of the local Rotary clubs does an event every year, first weekend of August, and they needed it for their vendors.
Okay.
So we just took advantage of it, but what we did was we expanded that. There's actually a group called the Dark Sky Fund Association that takes contributions, and it's used to improve the astronomy field. And that's one of the improvements we've done.
Right.
We've also put in plants on the roadside of the park, of the astronomy field, to help prevent light from the other side, because this park is split
some
by a
light
state road.
trespass that
So
might
to help
happen.
prevent light trespass,
Okay.
we put up a light break fence. We had, like I said, we had plants, trees, and shrubbery involved. We need to do some work on the latter part because some of those trees have died, and now we're getting swept with light from what's called the short-term astronomy field. That's the public side, where the public can go for a few hours a night.
Like an outreach kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then the state actually uses it as an outreach location.
That's great.
And it's become very popular up there. They have the state-sponsored events, which are just about every weekend. I think they start in May and run through September. I'm not 100% sure, but those have had up to 1,500 people attend.
Dang, that's a lot.
That's a lot of people. There's a lot of people for this small little park
little
in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
in what's referred to now as the Pennsylvania Wilds. It's in a little, it's in a
Okay.
town, not township, in a county called Potter County,
Water, okay.
and the nearest towns are Coudersport and Gailton. They're 15 and 12 miles away, respectively.
They have like little hotels or
Little
places,
hotel,
maybe
little
you can park
places
your
to
RV
stay.
or whatever.
Yeah, there's room on the field to actually park your RV,
Okay.
We
Wow,
have
that's
plenty of
unusual.
space.
Yeah.
but it is kind of limited because there are no full hookups for RVs.
It's dry camping.
It's dry camping, but you can plug your RV into power. There is water on the field, but there are not individual faucets or outlets.
So you're not going to hook up.
No, you can't do a full hookup or
I
anything
see.
like you can at a KOA or
But you
another
could fill
RV
up
park.
your RV and
Right, yeah.
take it off. You have to do a dump or whatever.
Right,
then-
and there are a couple of dumps not that far away because there's actually one because part of this park has an actual campground. It's a rustic campground with no hookups of any kind, but they do have, the dump station there so everybody you can dump. And then there's another state park about 6 miles away called Lyman Run where they also have dumps there. So, if you come with an RV,
you're going to be comfortable.
right, you're going to be comfortable. It's not like you have to pitch a tent, which I did for years, and then said to my wife, why did we pitch a tent for so long
Well,
after we got an RV?
a trailer and RV, right. Well, that's great. Let's talk a little bit about the supporting club and how you guys got, Cherry Springs Star Party is world famous, okay? And I know that you guys get an audience from around the world to attend this. So this year we're going to have Expo Scientific will be there. We'll be giving a door prize. And Sheldon,
which I thank you very much for.
It's our responsibility to engage as much as we can. Sheldon Pewarski, if you haven't met Sheldon, very friendly guy. He won't bite. Okay, so
no, I know him. He won't bite.
I don't know, but anyways, but how did the club? Talk about your club a little bit. How did it get started?
Sure.
Okay, with Cherry Springs.
The club. I'll do a little history of the club first.
Okay.
The club was founded in 1955 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, by a group of astronomy enthusiasts. They just made an announcement in the local paper, said, we want to have a meeting of people who are interested and see if we're interested. Maybe we can form some sort of organization.
Okay.
Organization formed. About 10 years later, we built our own observatory near a little town in northern York County called Lewisberry.
Okay.
And our observatory is called the Naylor Observatory, named after one of our founding members, Ed Naylor. Okay. Naylor. So you can look us up that way.
All right.
And, we've been doing the usual stuff that astronomy clubs do, public outreach. We run a basic astronomy course twice a year.
Awesome. Which
one of our members is the instructor for. Actually, several of our members do different segments, and I think it's 6 or 8 weeks. I forget right offhand. It was so long ago that I did it, but it's 6 or 8 weeks. It's very basic information about astronomy, and if the weather's nice when the class is over,
it's first steps into getting
into it. And if the weather's nice when the class is over, they go out and use our observatory and get to observe.
Very nice. So that's the icing on the cake.
That's the icing on the cake. So back in 1993 or 94, I can't remember the date, the manager of Cherry Springs State Park was aware that we had been doing a small star party down in the Harrisburg area. And he contacted our president at the time and said, we'd like you to come up and do a star party. Now, there already was a star party being held up at Cherry Springs. It's called the Black Forest Star Party.
I've heard of it. Sure.
And they run in September. We usually go in June.
Okay.
So he came to our president.
Do the members of your club do both star parties, or?
Yes, most of the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do both clubs do both star parties.
Awesome.
It's not like, there's.
Yeah, this is our star party.
Yeah, this is our star party, and we're not going to go because it's their star party. No, none of that.
Right.
None of that.
Right.
But he came to our president and said, "We'd like you to do a star party up here." So he said he came to the club and we got it organized. And now this was after I was president.
Okay.
So that was, like I said, around 1994. And I was still a member of the club, but I had dropped my participation because after a number of years as president, you sort of get,
you get
a little bit of burnout. But
because you have to spend so much energy to do this. Right?
Yeah. And he came to the club, and the club said, "Yeah, well, let's do it."
Awesome.
So it started, and we started out small. I think the first year we might have had 100 people, and it's
Still
grown.
a big star
It's
party.
still a nice star party,
Yeah.
but it's grown ever since. We have, depending on the year, we've had as many as 12 vendors on site. I'm hoping we'll
So
get
it's
anywhere.
vendor friendly.
It's very vendor friendly. One thing I know, there are some star parties that charge their vendors beyond a door prize. We don't do that. All we ask is that the vendor
That's
provides
more
a door
than fair.
prize.
That's more than fair. First off, vendors should support the community that supports them.
Yes.
I mean, that's the very least they can do.
True,
right?
true.
And so, and without that community, they don't have a business.
No, that's it.
Right?
They don't.
And if you're, I'll encourage any vendor, anybody in this industry that's watching it, give your all to the community because it will pay back, and that's what it's all about. So.
Right. And that's the way I approach it in my job for the Star Party as vendor coordinator.
Yeah.
The vendors providing us door prizes or attending helps us.
Yep.
And at the same time, we're helping them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about this particular 2023 event.
Sure.
Who's going to be there? What speakers you might have?
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I know we have a full slate of speakers. We do speakers. We're a 4-day star party. We start Thursday and run through Sunday.
Okay.
So we'll have speakers Friday and Saturday. Excuse me. I don't have the names of all our speakers right in front of me.
Sure.
But
if they go, what website?
They go to the website. They just look up Cherry Springs Star Party, and you'll be able to link.
.org or?
It is .org.
Okay.
But just do a search under Cherry Springs Star Party.
Google or Yahoo
Google,
or
however you want it.
Yeah.
Google, Bing, whatever you use.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to find us, and it will have the information here about the entire Star Party.
Okay.
Who we have as speakers, what we have as door prizes as of a particular date, and the vendors that we have confirmed coming.
Okay.
And let's see, I know we have a speaker from Penn State. I can't remember what his talk's going to be about. I do know, but it's one of those things, you hear so much stuff.
Well, when you come on a live program and you're put on the spot.
Right, that's it, yeah. And if I'd have known I was going to be on a live program, I'd have had all this stuff written down.
Exactly. By the way, I wanted to tell you that logo for the Astronomical Society of Harrisburg is beautiful. It's
Thank
really
you.
nice. Really
Thank
cool.
you.
So,
This is the logo we've had for close to 50 years.
yeah, that's cool, man. I just
Thank
like
you.
the comet, the sun, Saturn, observatory, the moon. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. So, well, that's great. We will be at the event itself. It's a 4-day event.
Right.
Weather prospects, what do you think?
The only thing I say about the weather is we will have weather.
Yes. This happens at any star party, folks. So
Yes.
if you've never been to a star party, you need to be a little prepared for weather changes, okay?
Yeah. But we've had years, there was one year it rained so bad, One of our younger members called it the Cherry Springs Aquafest as opposed to a star party. We did not get to observe at all,
Right.
but
your
you know
star
that's
party's
going to
not
happen.
prone to rain, right? So
No, it's not.
Of course
No,
not.
it's not.
It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
People have glowing remarks about it. I've heard for years about Cherry Springs Star Party. So if you're in the area, you want to experience a great star party, friendly group of people. If you've never been to a star party, you haven't really experienced the community of amateur astronomers, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised how giving of information, how
Helpful we are.
helpful and trustworthy and safe that kind of environment is.
Yes. And not only that, everyone that I know in this hobby is, I'll say, trusting of people.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to give up that control over your equipment.
Yeah.
Even if they're just putting their eye to the eyepiece.
Yes.
Because I've seen people do really dumb things that don't understand what the telescope is going to do,
Yeah.
or what they should or shouldn't do with it.
Yeah, but telescopes aren't delicate. I mean, they're
No,
so.
but it's the fact that in my case, I have a 20-inch reflector, which is huge, and to replace it is 5 figures at least.
Right.
And letting somebody even touch it, even if they're not going to do anything with it, is a matter of getting over the nerves.
I get the trust factor here,
but
but this is something that most astronomers do.
Yes.
Okay, they want to share the experience. Astronomy is this gateway to science. They know it. They know that it makes big changes in people's lives. I talk about this stuff all the time, okay? About the paradigm shift that can happen to someone when they reframe. You think that you got problems, and you think that, it's tax time, or I got bills, or somebody said something, or I don't like X, or there's some sort of problem. And then all you got to think about, or actually the best way to experience this, is to go out to a dark sky side, look up at the heavens, and look at the Milky Way. And then, something that happens to a lot of beginners, and this shift is starting to happen because they feel tiny, they feel humble, they feel almost insignificant, and this is your ego kind of melting away.
Yes, very much so, very much so. And it's also, as you're saying, go out under a good dark sky. Yeah. Even if it's not really a really good dark sky like at Cherry Springs State Park, as long as you can see the stars, just being out there is relaxing.
Absolutely.
It's relaxing.
You got high blood pressure, it's going to take it down.
Yes,
right?
Very much so. Right? Very much so. It's an easy way to relax. It's a very interesting hobby. You'll never want for having something to learn. I learn something every time I read an article in a magazine, every time I read a book about astronomy, every time I go out under the stars, I'm learning something new, because it's either something I've never seen before, if I'm looking at it through my telescope and say, oh, that's interesting, this is really cool, or it's just a piece of information I've never had.
Doug, how long have you been doing it?
I got interested in astronomy in 8th grade in high school, or in junior high. And I'll tell you, I'm 67 years old, so that tells you how long ago that was. Well over 50 years. Right. Probably close to 55 years. And it still
sustains you, right?
It still sustains me. It is still something that I enjoy going out and doing. Right. And yes, there's a learning curve to it. I won't be, I won't pull any punches on that.
There should be.
Yeah,
because
something is going to be so interesting. If
we were going to go to do an expedition to Antarctica, there's a little bit of a learning curve on how to deal with that. Okay?
Absolutely.
Right? So, but amateur astronomy and looking at the cosmos is the grandest, the greatest of adventures. Okay?
I have to agree. I have to agree. It really is. And, another thing if you don't know how interested you could be in it, find a local club. Yeah. Just, Google your area and say, astronomy clubs in this area.
Right.
I mean, I know in the Harrisburg area, I'd say within 50 miles of Harrisburg, there are at least, what I can recall, half a dozen different clubs of one
That's
level
a lot.
or another.
Okay.
It is a lot. There's one down in York, the city of York.
Okay.
That's only like 25 miles from Harrisburg. There is an observatory in Lancaster County called Muddy Run, which is run by, I forget their name, but they're a club out of Philadelphia.
Okay.
There's a club down in Lancaster City. So, there
And
are.
this is true all over the country,
Yeah.
and in many places around the world. So, and he's absolutely right. You will learn, if you can get into a club, you're going to be automatically welcomed to this community. And once you're in this community, you're going to be meeting people that are at least as enthusiastic as you are, okay? And
Sure.
you're going to meet some other movers and shakers like comet discoverers. You'll meet people that have discovered supernovas. You'll probably meet astronauts at one point, especially if you come to events like NEAF,
Yes. Yes. I've met a lot of people through the years, and some of them are well-known astrophotographers. I was lucky enough a number of years ago at the Winter Star Party down in the Florida Keys to meet,
Tippy Doria.
well, Tippy I knew, but one of the astronauts,
Okay.
name totally escapes me now. He was on the first servicing mission to Hubble.
Story Musgrave.
Story Musgrave,
Okay.
that's it.
All
That's
right.
it. Very interesting. Talk about an
Brilliant
intelligent-
dude.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Man, 6
And very-
masters.
Yeah. I think he just finished not too long ago another PhD.
Oh, man.
He is in his 80s. Okay. And
Yeah.
when I asked him, I said, got a story, why another PhD? And he's like, well, I want to keep learning. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you going to come on camera with us? No.
And watch where you
If
step.
you can give us a minute, we'll finish up here and I'll be right with you. We're live from the Northeast Astronomy Forum. This is Doug Grove, past president of the Cherry Springs Star Party and the Harrisburg Astronomical Society, or the Astronomical Society of Harrisburg. I'm reading it right there.
Yep.
But anyhow, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Appreciate you having me.
Yep. And
Glad to be
just
able to.
once again, where can they find more information about this?
Okay. If you're looking for information about our club, it's just Google. Actually, our website is astro, G as in George, B as in boy, .org. And if you're interested in Cherry Springs Star Party, just Google Cherry Springs Star Party, or you can also Google Cherry Springs State Park, which is the location of the Star Party, because you can go to the state park anytime other than a Star Party. You don't have to wait for a Star Party.
You don't have to wait for a Star Party. And when is the Star Party?
Star Party this year is June 15th through the 18th.
Okay.
And next year, I believe it is June 6th through the 9th.
Great. So even during the eclipses, you can still go to the Star Parties. So.
Yes, because it's after next year's total eclipse.
Right. Awesome. All right.
Okay,
Well,
Scott.
thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Doug.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.